Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Everly Junior. If you're new here, karibu sana. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for sticking with me. I know it has been a long time, but I never forget about you guys, and I'm always like, what do I do? What do I talk about next? And so even though I have been MIA, I pray that you forgive me. I keep on saying this all the time, but please bear with me as I keep on trying to just get time to create content and make this channel grow. So thank you for being here. Karibu sana. If you want to take some tea, you can go ahead and pour yourself a cup of tea as I tell you about today's topic. So today's topic is signs that you're giving off desperate energy, So you may be giving off desperate energy and you don't know. Maybe you're giving it off in life in general, or in a relationship, or in a friendship, in whatever situation. You may be giving off desperate energy and you have no idea. So I just came up with a few tips on, a few pointers on maybe what you could be doing that you're giving desperate energy. And I feel like we've all been desperate at one point in one way or another. And sometimes when you catch yourself like being desperate, like, no, you need to change and you need to turn it around. You like really need to reflect and see and think about situations that you've been desperate in and just make, a conscious decision not to be desperate. So number one, you are always available. And so it's always a good idea to be there for you, people who love you, people who care about you. But sometimes when you're too available, people take you for granted, and it gives off like you're desperate, especially if it's in the beginning stages of a relationship. So when someone is always like, where are you, randomly at midnight, where are you? I want to see you. And then you say like, okay, sure. You just jump out and go and see them. So that's like desperate energy. You need to have a schedule. You need to tell them, no, I'm busy today. I'm busy on this date. So we can meet on a certain date. So it's always good to not be too available. When they call all the time, you're there to pick up and you're always giving them, time. You're always doing things for them all the time. So just check on that and you'll realize if you're desperate or not. Then the other point is also always initiating everything, especially in relationships. Like you're the one, and it doesn't mean romantic relationships. Maybe it's even friendship. You're always the one calling this person. You're always the one thinking about this person. Oh my God, I need to call this person, and they don't even care about you. They don't even think about you. Before they even come to think about you, it takes a while. They're always busy out there. They're always like involving other friends, going out to parties, inviting other people, and thinking about you last minute. But you're there. You're always initiating calls. You're always wanting to meet this person. You're always texting this person and double texting. So that shows that that kind of gives off desperate energy. So it's always good to check up on yourself, not to always initiate. Always wait until also the other person reciprocates. You don't want to be the one always initiating, always telling the person, I need to see you, always telling this person that, just being the initiator in everything. Then the other point is also overplaying your role in people's lives. So when you overplay your role, you're the one who's always doing, as I think it kind of goes hand in hand with this initiating thing. You're overplaying your role, you're there, you're running errands for this person, they tell you this, you're doing so much, if it's let's say a friend, you're there, you've gotten to know about their color, if their favorite color, you're getting them flowers every week, chocolate every week, you're trying to meet their every need. If they tell you, oh my God, I love this shoe, you're busy getting it for them. And maybe even you yourself, you don't have that, those pair of shoes that they want, or maybe you desire to get the same but you can't get because you don't have money, but you're there just trying to buy things for this person just to be able to appease them. And so you're overplaying your role, and you find that in the long run, you end up resenting these people because they're not giving the same energy back. So you need to watch out for that, because you might be giving off desperate energy when you're overplaying your role, when you're there 100%, but someone is there like 20% or even 5%, Then the other point is also your standards are low. So you need to have high standards, especially when it comes to relationships. You need to have your standards so high. Like you need people to come like this. Maybe you need your values aligned. Maybe they need to have maybe something so that you guys can be friends or you guys can be in a relationship. But when your standards are low, you just accept anything or anyone, any situation, any behavior, you just accept. And you always make excuses for people like, oh yeah, maybe they're having a rough day. Oh, maybe maybe they have a lot going in their minds. You're always like making excuses for people. That's why you take in a lot, so when your standards are low. Then the other point is also not having boundaries. So you really need to set your boundaries, especially early on, especially when you're getting to know someone, even if it's a friend or it's a partner, a romantic partner. You really need to be able to set up your boundaries and say, no, I don't want this. Maybe they tell you, I want to go maybe do something, and you don't feel like doing it, you don't want to do it. It's always good to tell them, no, I'm not in a situation where I can be able to do it because of blah 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 blah. So it's always good to be able to say no. You don't need to accept everything. They tell you, come here, you come, jump here, you jump. You don't need to have that. You also need to set your boundaries and show this person that there are things you cannot take, and there are things that you can accept. Then the other point is also neediness. You're needy. You want this person to be around you all the time. You want this person to call you all the time. And people have lives, especially when it comes to a relationship or a romantic relationship. Maybe that person has another life out there. He maybe is busy with his career. Maybe he or her is busy with their career. Probably they have family that they need to go take care of, so you also need to give room for that person. But when you're too needy, you want to see them every day, you want them to call you all the time for hours and on end. I know lovers in the house, we love that. We love being called for hours and hours and hours, but it's always a good thing not to know where there's a limit, to be able to put a limit, because you can't be like all the time, you're seeing this person every day. So it's always a good idea not to be too needy, to show that you're too needy. Yeah. Because neediness also shows that you need this person so much. It's like you can't survive without this person. But you want to be in a situation where you're choosing this person, not needing them, but choosing them, or wanting them to be in your life. So there's a difference. So the other point is also you bend over backwards for people. I think this it's like overplaying your role. So you're always the one bending over backwards. People tell you, oh, I'm having a what? A fundraiser, and I need decorations and all that, but I don't have money. You're there, oh, I can do it, and you do it. And maybe that day you're tired, maybe that day you've been working back to back, you're tired, you've been working so many hours. Maybe your child even needs you to be there for them, but you're just like, no, let me go for help my friend. So it's always like you're always bending over backwards, and you're not getting anything else in return. Maybe the same person doesn't even care about you. Even if you got sick, they wouldn't even visit you in hospital. So yeah, you might want to check on that. If maybe you're bending over backwards so much for people and they're not doing the same. Then the other point is also you move too fast, especially in romantic relationships. You're too eager. So you always want to jump to the next stage, but some things take time. You meet this person, you get to talk, you get to know them. So it's always a good idea to just kind of step back, get to know this person, and not just jump in too quickly or move too fast or expect a ring by day 2, So, and even friendships, like you really need to get to know someone. You really need to know about someone's everything. Like you can't just get into a friendship without really knowing someone, So you need to take time to just get to know people, so that you just don't jump into anything too quickly, because that's how you end up getting hurt, because you might end up overlooking a lot of red flags, and it will catch up with you, because now maybe you already settled in, you're like, oh, this is my friend, and then they do something which shocks you, and you didn't expect that because you move too fast. Yeah. Then the other point is also not knowing your worth. So when you don't know your worth, you accept almost anything. Like if someone comes to you, they want to be your friend, they're like, yeah, they don't even treat you nicely. They don't even check up on you, especially when you're not doing well. Maybe you fall sick, they don't even care about you. They don't even call you just to check up on you, or even come to see you just to make you feel better. They don't do that. So when you know your worth, you won't allow just anyone in your life. You'll have standards, and you'll be able to choose and see that, I need this kind of person in my life. This person, they always, check up on me. They always want the best for me. And I've realized, especially when it comes to friendships, it's always good to see who is happy for you, especially when you're winning or when you're going through something. People who are with you, they're happy for you when you're winning, and they're with you when you're grieving. That's a good thing. Like when you realize this person is there for me, all through, then you can consider that person a friend. But when you don't know your worth, you'll be able to accept almost anything. Then the other point is also being tolerant when it comes to bad behavior. So you tolerate a lot of bad behavior from other people. You're like, it's okay, it's okay. You don't mind. Someone does something to you, you don't even expect an apology. You just accept anything. People disrespect you and you're just there accepting it. So that kind of gives you desperate energy. Then the other point is also you settle for less out of fear of being alone. Since you're just afraid of being alone, you're always around people. Maybe you have friends that are not even good for you, because just by virtue of not wanting to be alone. But now it's bad because now you almost settle for anything. And even in relationships, you'll find yourself settling for less, just settling for any person, and you end up getting hurt. You end up getting like frustrated at the end of the day, because you're not getting really what you really deserve. Then another point is also you constantly ignore red flags. So you just want to make, as I said before, you want to make excuses for people. So you ignore red flags. You're like, oh, it's okay. Maybe they had a rough childhood. Maybe this person is a narcissist. And you're like, no, it's okay. Let me understand. Probably they had a rough childhood. Probably they didn't have it good when they were growing up. So you're like, you try to really ignore the red flags, and someone is treating you badly every day, worse and worse and worse, all through. They're mistreating you, they're disrespecting you, they're calling you names. So when we constantly ignore it, even people have warned you, they've told you, oh no, don't mess with that person. You've been told by other people, oh no, that person is not a good person, but you still don't listen, and you still keep on not really forgiving them, but like keep on taking them back in your life. So you really need to watch yourself if you're doing that. Then the other point is also you are constantly seeking a validation. So when you're constantly seeking validation from people, you try so hard to please them. You try so hard to do things, big things, and sometimes to the detriment of yourself, because you maybe don't even have that much money in your account. But when you're always trying to please people, you will find yourself just using money that you don't have, taking loans that just to please other people, just to show them that you're successful, and it just ends up being so stressful. So that's a sign that you can maybe are giving off desperate energy, maybe when you're constantly seeking validation or doing things just to make someone be pleased with you. Yeah, so those are the points that I came up with today. So I hope you've learned a thing or two. So thank you so much for sticking with me, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.